Hello and welcome to another video with Mr. C's Biology. Today we're thinking about abiotic and biotic factors. Just been told by my sister that this is boring, so I said I'd make it less boring by doing a video about it. So, abiotic, let's start with them first. The study of biology is the study of living things, and if it's abiotic, then it's something non-living. So this is a non-living factor in an ecosystem. So it's something that affects an ecosystem that isn't living. So some examples that this could be what the sun does. So actually not the sun itself, but the things that actually would be an abiotic factor would be things like light and different light intensities, or maybe temperature. If somewhere's very hot or very cold, it's going to affect the ecosystem. It's going to affect the things that are able to live there. Another thing that could cause some abiotic factors could be a river. And so a river might make the soil more moist. The pH of the river might make certain fish want to live there. And it's also going to provide water for trees and plants around there. So they are non-living factors. Now biotic, we're thinking the opposite, we're thinking living factors. And so they're things like the relationship between different organisms that will affect whether the organisms can grow and live and reproduce and be a happy ecosystem. So for example, there might be predator-prey relationships. They're going to affect whether organisms live in a certain place. If there's a population of rabbits and there are lots and lots of predators there, that's going to mean that they are going to die out, that they're not going to be able to be found in that area. If there's an area where there aren't so many predators, then they're probably going to be able to survive there. Another thing might be competition. So for example, organisms need certain things to survive and they might have to compete for them. So they might need to compete for space. Lots of plants growing in the same area wouldn't actually grow that well. And that's why they try and spread their seeds out, because if they're spread out a bit further, think social distancing in terms of COVID-19, then they're going to grow a lot better because they're going to have more space, more nutrients in the area around them. For animals, they might be competing for food or for a water source, and so less competition is going to mean that they're going to grow more. So that's something that's going to affect the ecosystem, affect what's there and what's not. Another thing, maybe for the rabbits themselves, the availability of food that they're going to eat. If there's lots of food, then that's going to make for a happy rabbit. If there's not so much food, then it's not going to be as happy. And also things like pathogens. So if there's something that enters the ecosystem and makes a lot of the organisms in it die, then that's pretty sad. But it's going to change the ecosystem, change the amount of things that are living there, so the ecosystem will be different. That's all for now about abiotic and biotic factors. See you next time.